I'm the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So recently I was looking at my factions and realizing that some of them seem a little bit geared more towards melee than the guns. And I like the idea of teeth and claw probably as much as the next guy. I play D&D, so teeth and claw is kind of one of those things that you deal with, generally on the receiving end though. So I thought, hey, why not do a melee battle royale? See what we can do with that. So I got it up 10 factions, gave them all a roughly 30 power level max. We're going to throw them on a board and see what they do. I love orc mech guns so much, the bubble checker especially, that I got another one. So now I have two mech guns with the bubble checker. So maybe in a couple months when I've saved up enough money, I can get a third one. That'd be super awesome because ultimately, in the end, when I do orc games and they've got the mech guns, the mech guns tend to be worth the time, and they do tend to screw things up. So good times. All right, we got this nice 4x6 table here. Not entirely sure yet how these guys are going to get arranged on the board, but there'll definitely be some around the outside, maybe some in the middle. I don't know. There's 10 of them. They should fit. But yeah, I'm gonna put these guys on this space. They're gonna go until they're all dead. Well, until all but one grouping is dead. So, all right, I'm gonna meet the armies then. All right, so we have the Tyrannid entry into this experience. We have 10 Gene Stealers, a Trigon Prime, and a Trigon. They all have Toxin Sacks, but not the extended carapaces. For Slanesh, got 10 Demonettes, 5 Seekers, and 2 Demon Princes, one with a sword, one with an axe. The one on the right knows Smite and Hysterical Frenzy. The one on the left, we'll just make it easy and give him Hysterical Frenzy as well, along with Smite. These guys probably won't win, but they'll probably put up a decent fight. For the Adeptus Mechanicus, we have 2 Castellan Robots, 5 Sicarian Ruststalkers, and a Tech Priest Dominus. Castellan Robots tend to do well in the League of Random games, so they might do pretty well here too. Alright, so the Night Lords have donated a Master of Executions, 5 Warp Talons, and 10 Legionnaires. The 9 basic guys all have chain swords. The Aspiring Champion has a chain axe. For the Eldar, we have a Wraith Lord, 5 Wraith Blades, a Warlock, and a Spirit Seer. So the Warlock knows Protect and Smite, and the Spirit Seer knows Jinx and Smite. The Death Guard have donated 5 Blightlord Terminators, 7 Plague Marines, and 10 Poxwalkers. These guys have all the nasty plague weapons, Flail of Corruption, the Plague Cleaver, lots of plague knives. Pretty nasty stuff. Alright, so the Thousand Suns got 2 10-man groups of Zangors. The ones in the back have the chain swords. The ones in the front have Zangor blades. We got 5 Scarab Occult Terminators. And this Exalted Sorcerer who knows Prescience, Warp Time, and Smite. I'm gonna pull back a little bit for the Orc contingent. They've got the most amount of units in the game, actually. So we have 10 Beast Boys, Beast Snagger Boys, 2 groups of 10 regular boys, a Death Dread, 2 Dread Claws, a Beast Boss, and a Warlord in Mega Armor. Orcs just look cool. The Necrons, who I predict will win the game. We got 3 Scorpek Destroyers, 5 Lich Guard with the Sword and Board, 10 Triarch Praetorians with the Void Blades, and then an Overlord with a Void Scythe. I'm gonna ignore the Res Orb because I never remember it anyway. And last but certainly not least, we have the other 6-unit grouping, Drukhari. We got 10 Witches, 2 groups of 5 Incubi, a Talos, a Succubus, and an Archon. Alright, so I'm gonna put all 10 of these guys around the board, and we're gonna see some chaos. So yeah, my vote's for the Necrons to win. Alright, so the AdMac ended up in this far left corner. Drukhari on the hill, Eldar on the far right there. In the center, we have the Tyranids, Night Lords, and Death Guard on the hill. Necrons over here in the middle of this side. Thousand Suns on the other corner. Slaanesh on the hill. And the Orcs all up in that corner. Alright, well, the Eldar drew first to go first. So, start the game off with them. So, the Eldar turn. Alright, so all of the Eldar just advanced forward as far as they could. That'll make it the Thousand Suns turn. Alright, so like the Eldar, the Thousand Suns have just advanced out of their corner. The Aspiring Sorcerer, Scarab Occult Terminator, the Cloak guy, tried to manifest Doombolt on these Praetorians, but it failed to manifest. Since they all advanced, nobody can charge, so yeah, that'll take us on over to the Orcs. Alright, well the Orcs just did a whole lot of explosive things. So everybody just moved. The Warboss and the boys all moved up this way towards the Tyranids. And the Death Dread moved up onto the hill. The Beast Boss and Beast Boys just stayed where they were. So for the charge phase, the Death Dread charged into the Demon Prince and the Seekers. The Beast Boys and Beast Boss charged into the Seekers as well. The Warboss and the Front Boys tried to charge into the Tyranids, so they just didn't get the distance. So the Beast Boss and the Beast Boys managed to kill off all of the Seekers. The Death Dread tried to do some damage to the Demon Prince, but did nothing at all, and got completely destroyed for his troubles. So yeah, that was super amazing. Go Slaanesh, go. Alright, well, that'll take us on over to the AdMech turn. So the AdMech kind of exploded out of the corner as well. The Dominus and the Castlin robots just moving up. The Ruststalkers moved up onto the hill here. Then they charged into the Incubi. Castlin robots charged into the Scorpex, killing off all of the Scorpex. Those things need an anvil and save, they really do. Over here, the Rust Stalkers charged into the Incubi, killing off all of the Incubi and wounding the Claybex. And he unfortunately didn't kill any of them in return. It was pretty terrible. Okay, I do believe that'll make it Slaaneash's turn. Alright, so the Demonettes and the Demon Prince moved down off of the hill to take on the Zangors. This Demon Prince didn't move. So this guy successfully cast Hysterical Frenzy onto the Demonettes. These guys charged into the Zangors. This guy multi-charged into the Beast Boss and the Beast Boys. He killed off the Beast Boss and then killed 3 of the Beast Boys. Together, these guys all killed off the Zangors. And then the Orcs didn't do a single thing to the Demon Prince. Alright, so that'll make it Tyranids' turn to hop into the fray. The Tyranids really took the fight to the board here. So the Gene Stealers moved over and got closer to these boys and the War Boss. This Trigon got to the base of this hill, and this Trigon got about 10 inches back from where it is now. It charged into the Demon Prince and the Demonettes, killed off 8 of the Demonettes, and the Demon Prince did a little bit of damage to it. This Trigon charged into the Warp Towns, killing all of them. And the Gene Stealers multi-charged into the War Boss and the boys, killing off the War Boss and 7 of the boys. And then somehow made all their saves past that? It was super crazy. Alright. We're more than halfway through the first round, so that'll take us on over to the Necron turn. I feel like some decent revenge was gotten for the Necrons this turn. The Praetorians moved over here by the Zangors. And then the Lich Guard and Overlord got closer to the Castellan robots, who they then charged. And the Praetorians charged the Zangors, wiped them out completely. Lich Guard did a little bit of damage to one of the Castellan robots, but then the Overlord with his Void Scythe cleaned up. So they might have killed off the Scorpex, but they themselves died ultimately in the end. Yay! Alright, so that'll make it the Dark Eldar turn. So the Archons, Succubus, Witches, and Talos just all advanced off of the hill. The other group of Incubi moved over towards the Rust Stalkers. They did charge into the Rust Stalkers, killed several of them. Then the remaining Claybex from the first grouping didn't do anything at all. And then the other 2 Rust Stalkers killed one of the painted Incubi that just charged in. So we're whittling them down up here, I guess. Alright, that's going to make it the Night Lord's turn. Alright, so the Master of Executions and the squad of Chaos Legionnaires decided not to move and instead just charged into the Trigon. They did a lot of damage to it. Unfortunately, they didn't kill it. So the Trigon killed 5 of the Legionnaires. That was ridiculous. Alright, so that'll take us to the last faction for the first round, and that is the Death Guard. So the Blight Lord Terminators just moved down off of the hill. The Plague Marines got closer to the Trigon. And the Poxwalkers advanced off the hill over on this side. Plague Marines charged into the Trigon. Blight Lord Terminators multi-charged into the Demon Prince and this Trigon. They did a decent amount of damage to the Trigon, a little bit of damage to the Demon Prince. The Trigon killed 2 of these guys, and then the Demon Prince killed another one. These guys actually managed to kill off the Trigon. Not too shabby. Alright, well, end of the first round. Yeah, and the board looks very vastly different. A whole lot of people over there in the dead pile. So to start us off for round 2, we're going to start with the Orcs. These guys are definitely in danger. I feel like the Orcs are starting to rally a little bit. So the group of boys that was on the back got closer to the Gene Stealers. The Beast Boys and the Dilapidated squad just stayed in combat. The boys charged into the Gene Stealers, killed a crap ton of them. Didn't actually lose any of their own. The Beast Boys over here did a little bit of damage to this Demon Prince, but he killed several of them off. So I don't know. It was a good effort, so we'll see how it goes for Sinesh's turn. But for now, we can deal with the Necrons, who aren't doing all that well. The Lich Guard and Overlord got a whole lot closer to the Dominus. The Praetorians did the same. Praetorians charged into the Terminators here, killing 3 of them, only losing 1 in the exchange. The Overlord and the Lich Guard charged into the Dominus. Together they managed to kill off the Dominus. It was nice. No toasters for you guys. Alright, so that'll take it to Slanesh's turn. That was a ridiculous experience. So everybody just stayed in combat where they were. This Demon Prince did smite and killed 1 of the Beast Nagas, and then in regular combat killed the other 2. So the Demonettes tried to get the Trigon, didn't do anything to it. The Demon Prince was able to kill off the last of the Blightlord Terminators, and then the Trigon killed the Demonettes. It was kind of sad. Alright. Well, that's going to take us on over to the Eldar turn. Maybe they can finally make it into a fight. Maybe. Nah, the closest thing they're near is Drukhari, so probably just advancing a whole lot for them. So I fully expected actually the Tyranids were going to go for the Eldar as opposed to going up towards the other way. So the Eldar are pretty much the only ones that have not gotten into a fight at all anywhere. All they did is advance forward, going towards this way. So that'll take us to the Admech, which currently consists of these 2 Ruststalkers that are in combat with Incubi. Alright, so they stayed in combat with all of the Incubi that were over here. One of them did manage to kill the Klavex from the unpainted ones, and failed to wound on the painted ones. And then these guys killed off the last 2 Ruststalkers, so that puts Admech out of the running for winning this game. Alright, so first faction kill goes to Drukhari. That'll make it to Thousand Sun's turn. They're locked in death combat over here with the Necron, so... Okay, so the 2 Scarab Occult Terminators were going to stay in combat. The Exalted Sorcerer moved forward. The Occult Sorcerer aspiring guy failed to get Doombolt off. But the Exalted Sorcerer got a Smite off, which did kill off one of the Praetorians. He attacked and didn't do anything. The Scarab Occult Terminators attacked and didn't do anything. And in return, the Praetorians killed off both Terminators and did some decent damage to the Exalted Sorcerer. Yeah. So that'll make it the Tyranid turn. These guys are hurting too. So the Gene Stealer and the Trigon both decided to remain in combat. The Gene Stealer attacked the Orcs, didn't do any damage at all, and died. The Trigon did a little bit of damage to the Demon Prince here, and then he also died. So that knocks Tyranids out of the game. So that'll make it the Night Lord's turn. Alright, so the Master of Executions advanced down off of the hill, and the remaining Legionnaires just advanced forward to the edge of the hill. Not a whole lot for those guys, so go to the Drukhari turn. So the Talos moved up on top of the rock. The Witches, Succubus, and Archon all got closer to the Poxwalkers. And the Incubi just moved off the hill. Alright, so the Incubi charged into the Lich Guard. The Witches, Succubus, and Archon all charged into the Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers all died. The Incubi managed to kill up one of the Lich Guard and lost 2 Incubi doing so. I mean, it was certainly a lot of fun killing off the Poxwalkers. That'll make it the Death Guard turn. The Plague Marines moved off the hill, charged into the Demon Prince, killed it. Man, I don't know who is more surprised, me or them. Probably me, since they're not real. Yeah. So, yeah, that takes us to the top of round 3. I'm gonna start with Slaanesh. Alright, so this Demon Prince flew over close to the smaller group of boys. Cast Smite, it did manifest. Killed off one of the boys. He charged in and killed the other 2. Alright, so the Death Guard. So the Death Guard are just heading on over towards the Orcs and Slaanesh Demon Prince guy. Alright, so that'll make it the Necron turn. The Overlord is advancing over towards the Drukhari. The other 2 groups just stayed in combat. The Lich Guard very successfully killed off the 2 remaining Incubi. And the Praetorians killed off the Exalted Sorcerer, which removes the Thousand Suns from the game as well. Alright, so that'll make it the Drukhari turn. The Drukhari definitely did a lot of work this time. The Archon is advancing over towards the Necrons. The Succubus and Witches just moved up onto the hill so they could advance into the Legionnaires. And the Talos moved over by the Master of Executions. So it charged the Master of Executions, and then the Witches and Succubus charged into the Legionnaires. Killed off 3 of the Legionnaires. Didn't actually get any wounds onto the Witches at all, which was hilarious. And then the Talos just flat out killed the Master of Executions. Crazy times. Alright. I have to go look at the thing. I forgot whose turn it is. So I just consulted the paper, walked 8 feet, forgot what my paper said. It said that the Orcs get to go next, so Orc turn. No real need for movement, this guy was close enough, they just charged into him. They did do a couple points of damage to him, but he killed 5 of them. That was just kind of, I mean, it was kind of ridiculous, but I mean, Orcs like to fight, and it doesn't matter, so. Alright, so, the Night Lords, there's 2 Legionnaires left fighting against the Witches and the Succubus up here on the hill. Their turn's gonna be short. They might even die at the end of this. Who knows? So the last two Night Lords did indeed stay and fight. They killed two of the witches off, and then the succubus and the remaining witches killed off the Night Lords. So they're out of the game. So this brings us to the last faction for round 3, which is the Eldar over here, who haven't fought anybody still. Working their way towards this end of the table. Eldar. Alright, all the Eldar forces have advanced, and they're getting closer to the middle of the board at least. Alright, well, that'll take us to the top of round 4 with the Necrons. The Lich Guard advanced forward, the Overlord moved forward, as did the Praetorians. The Praetorians charged into the Plague Marines, the Overlord charged into the Archon. The Praetorians killed off 4 of the Plague Marines. They managed to kill 1 Praetorian in return, slowly killing these guys off. The Archon and his Shadow Field saved against every attack. Actually wounded on all 4, and he saved against all 4. But to even things out, the Overlord saved on all of the wounds that the Archon made, so it worked out happily enough either way. That'll make it the Orc turn. The Orcs chose to stay in combat with the Demon Prince. Got it down to 1 health. It just went ahead and killed off all the remaining boys. So that knocks Orcs out of the game. And that'll make it Slaaneash's turn. So the Demon Prince moved up closer to the Plague Marines. Charged into them. Killed all 3 of them. And removed the Death Guard from the rest of the game. Alright, so Eldar turn. Maybe they can finally get close enough to the Demon Prince and the Necrons to do something. Alright, so the Spirit Seer, Wraithblades, and the Warlock have all advanced towards this way. Over there, the Wraithlord scooted over towards the Overlord. The Spirit Seer actually got a smite off that killed the Demon Prince. And the Wraithlord charged into the Overlord. Didn't do any damage to the Overlord, but took some damage of his own. Alright, well, Slaanesh has been knocked out of the game for good, so yeah, that'll make it to Drukhari turn. The Witches and Succubus moved up to the edge of the hill there. The Talos also moved up to the edge of the hill on the bottom. The Archon over there stayed in combat with the Overlord. The Witches and Succubus successfully charged into the Praetorians. The Talos failed its charge. So the Witches and the Succubus between them killed 1 Praetorian. And then the Praetorians killed 5 Witches, did 1 damage to the Succubus. Over here, the Archon with his Husk Blade did 1 damage to the Overlord, but saved against the Overlord's return attacks. Alright, well that puts it as the end of round 4, so we'll start round 5 with the Necrons. The Overlord regained a health from Living Metal. The Lich Guard just got closer to the Wraithlord, sorry. And then they charged into it. They did a decent amount of damage to it. And then the Overlord finished it off. Over here, the Praetorians killed off the rest of the Witches. Got the Succubus down to 1. The Succubus managed to kill 1 of the Praetorians with her spear. Alright, well, that'll take us to the Eldar turn. Be interesting to see which way they decide to go here. So the Wraithblades got a lot. Well, they got kind of close to these guys. They made an 11-inch charge to actually get to where they are currently. The Warlock and the Spirit Seer advanced over to here. So both of them ended up doing smites. Only one of them succeeded, the Warlock, which did kill off one of the Lich Guard. So, as I said, these guys made a 12-inch charge. Well, they made an 11-inch charge. I rolled a 12. It was probably the most impressive thing I've ever seen them do in any game. And then they proceeded to kill off two of the Praetorians and took a little bit of damage. These guys are definitely going to do the thing they came here to do. Even though I kind of feel like the Eldar are just kind of mopping up everybody else's like hard work. So that'll make it the Drukhari turn. Alright, so the Talos has advanced over here just in front of the Spirits here. The Succubus didn't do any damage to the Praetorians, and they killed her. Sad face. The Archon and the Overlord just traded. They just did invulnerable saves against each other and made them so they're just kind of swiping at each other and then instantly saving against it somehow, or yeah, blocking. They're doing lots of blocking. Okay, so that'll take us back around to the Necron turn again. Alright, so the Lich Guard moved up to get closer to the Warlock. The Praetorians and the Overlord just gonna be in combat. Probably until one or both of them are dead. The Praetorians definitely made their charge, for sure. Killed the Warlock. The Praetorians killed one of the Wraithblades, did some damage to another one, did not die in return somehow. Still, I mean, that was a lot of saves that they made. Maybe the Necron dice are deciding to be like the Chaos dice and deciding, hey, late game, let's actually work. Roll high, roll high. Didn't actually work for the Overlord, though. He didn't do anything to the Archon, but he took a crap ton of damage in return, putting him down to 2. Alright, well, slowly whittling them down. That does make it the Eldar turn. Alright, so the Spirits here managed to kill off 1.5 Lich Guard with a Smite. The Wraithblades did 1 damage to one of these Praetorians and lost a Wraithblade for the experience. Alright, well that'll take us on over to the Drukhari's turn. The seemingly invincible Archon over here. Alright, so the Talos charged into the Lich Guard, killing one of them, taking no damage. To my eternal sadness, the Archon finally did kill off the Overlord. Sad face. Well, it is the Necron turn, and there are 3 models still on the table for them at least, so keep on fighting the good fight without the Overlord. Do the Necron turn. Well, to continue with the sadness, the Necrons died in both of their engagements. The Lich Guard managed to do a point of damage to the Talos. It died. The Praetorians did no damage to the Wraithblades, and they died. So that knocks the Necrons out of the game. And that'll make it the Eldar turn. So both the Spirit Seer and the Wraithblades have advanced up onto the hill. The Spirit Seer smote the Talos for 3 damage. And that's all they're doing. So that'll make it the Drukhari turn. Alright, so the Talos and the Archon have just moved up onto the hill. The Talos charged successfully into the Spirit Seer. The Archon failed to charge into the Wraithblades. The Talos definitely killed the Spirit Seer. Probably gonna do something naughty with the corpse. Alright, so that makes it the Eldar turn. Okay, the Wraithblades charge into the Talos. Cut the crap out of it with their shiny little swords. And that just leaves the Archon against the Wraithblades. He's definitely going to charge into them after moving a lot closer so that he doesn't fail a crappy charge. I don't see how many of these guys are left. Alright, the Archon did indeed kill off the wounded Wraithblade. So the other two attacked him, and unfortunately for him, one of those got through the shadow field thing that he has, so he no longer has the 2-up invulnerable, he just has the 5-up save. Which really sucks. But, yeah. He's probably going to be dead soon, but I guess it depends on how well they hit. It is the Eldar turn, so... Alright, well, they managed to kill him off. That was... I thought that Archon was going to live forever. He lasted the entire game. I feel like the Eldar just kind of swooped in at the last minute and stole victory out of the claws of the Drukhari. Because the Dark Eldar kind of, they started big and strong in the beginning, and they made it all the way over to here, the witches and the succubus and whatnot, against the Praetorians. And Necron started over here, so... Yeah. I mean, either way, a battle royale, they were kind of playing it smart and stupid because they were slow, but... I mean, it is what it is. Yay, Eldar! Boo hiss, not Necron. This was a good time. I'm gonna follow this up eventually, not immediately, but here shortly in the future with a multi-faction battle royale. But it'll be just shooty weapons only, no melee at all. And maybe the Necrons can take the win back. But there's a whole lot of, I mean, the Imperial Guard would be in that one, so who knows how that would end up. I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks, maybe a month. I don't know. Ultimately, I got all these ideas for games, but it's just me, so... If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a weird week. Daylight savings time and just crazy things in life. Real life just kind of definitely has a way of like walking up and smacking you in the face, like, oh yeah, you were trying to sleep? Wake up. So yeah. Hope you all have a good and wonderful day. Thanks for watching.